Okay, let's get into it. Today we're doing a deep dive into something, well, something you see everywhere now in cannabis, that consumer focus, maybe even obsession with THC percentages.
It's that number, right? The first thing people often look for, but it wasn't always the main way folks judged quality.
Exactly. And our source for this, The Rise of THC Obsession from Nug Notes, it really lays out the whole journey. So our mission here is to trace that timeline. How did this one number, THC percent, become the metric? And maybe more interestingly, what did it replace?
Yeah, good question. Because if you think back, like before widespread testing, maybe 96 to 2007, that Prop 215 era in California,
Well,
how did people choose?
it was all senses, totally. Nug Notes talks about growers bringing in, those big turkey bags. You weren't looking at a lab report.
No way.
You'd open the bag, crack open a nug. It was about the look, the feel, and critically the nose. The smell was huge.
The smell told the story, basically. Aroma, how sticky it was, how it looked. Those were your metrics. And a lot of it was trust, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Trust in the grower, the collective, someone you knew from the scene, as they say. No COAs involved.
Right. So when did the numbers actually start appearing? When did THC become this, quantifiable thing?
Well, that shift seems to start around 2007, maybe through 2012. Commercial testing labs started popping up. Steep Hill in Oakland in '07 was a big one. A real
Yeah.
pioneer.
Okay, yeah. I remember hearing about that. And SC Labs, didn't they start printing THC results live at the Emerald Cup around 2010?
It did. And suddenly that number wasn't just some internal thing. It became like public,
Yeah.
a badge.
Bragging rights, for sure.
What?
And then, from maybe 2012 to 2016, you get platforms like Weedmaps, Leafly, dispensary POS systems.
Right.
And they made percent THC the default sorting metric on menus. It just became the standard way to list things.
And think about the physical market changing, too, around then. Packaging started changing.
Yes, good point. More sealed packaging, pre-packs, which meant
You couldn't use your nose anymore. Not before buying, anyway. That whole ritual of smelling the jar, it was just gone for many people.
So the number kind of had to step in, right? To give buyers some kind of info, some metric to grasp onto.
Plus, you had concentrates really taking off then, too. Distillate, shatter, hitting like 70, 80, 90% THC.
Oh, yeah. That definitely shifted expectations. People started seeing these super high numbers elsewhere.
And then regulation really cemented it all. California's Phase 3 rule, that was around 2018, mandated COAs, certificates of analysis on everything legal.
And what's front and center on a COA?
THC percentage. So naturally, dispensaries organize menus around it, and budtenders, well, they learned pretty quick that asking what's the strongest, or pointing to the high THC stuff, was often the fastest way to a sale.
It just became the path of least resistance, shaped by the regs and the available data. And let's be real, there was a money angle, too.
Potency equals price, you mean?
Pretty much. There was that 2022 study confirming what everyone kind of knew. Higher labeled THC meant a higher price tag.
So the number became shorthand for value, even if, as that study noted, it didn't always line up perfectly with the actual experience.
Exactly. The perceived value was tied to the number.
Okay, but now, Nugnotes suggests we're seeing maybe a little pushback. Like in the last couple of years, 2023, maybe into 2025, this terpene pushback.
Yeah, you are seeing that, especially from more experienced buyers, the legacy heads, the source calls them, people who remember the before times.
They're focusing more on terps over THC, aroma, flavor, the effects profiles linked to those.
Right. And brands are noticing you see more terpene charts now, those little effect icons, QR codes linking to the full lab report.
Trying to bring back some of that nuance, maybe.
Sort of, yeah. Trying to offer more than just the one number. But, and this is key, the source points out that for your average shopper, that 30% plus number, it's still king. It's still very persuasive.
So wrapping this up, the obsession wasn't just one thing. It was labs starting up, packaging changing so you couldn't smell, digital menus needing a metric, high THC products, shifting expectations, and then regulations making that THC number mandatory and visible.
It all built on itself. The number really did kind of replace the nose as the primary shortcut for judging quality or predicting effect, for many people at least.
Which leads to a final thought, something for you, the listener, to chew on. If this single mandated number on the package has largely taken over from judging cannabis by sight and smell, what might be getting lost?
Yeah, what aspects of quality or maybe the specific type of experience get overlooked when the focus is just on that 1%? What else could be a valuable guide on that menu that isn't always highlighted? Something to think about next time you're browsing.